join us as we delve into the emotional roller coaster of the best fights in paternity court, where determination meets uncertainty and every revelation brings us closer to the undeniable truth. In the paternity courtroom, a young woman named Miss Austen found herself for the third time facing the same question.
Ms. Austen, this is your third time here in our courtroom with Mr. Wallace and Miss Roberts. Previously, you were here because Mr. Wallace questioned the paternity of your other child, but now you find yourself in the same situation. Today, you say you need to prove to Mr. Wallace that he is the father of your 9-month-old son, Ronell.
The judge addressed her, stating that this was her third appearance with Mr. Wallace and Miss Robert, each time revolving around the paternity of her children. In previous instances, Mr. Wallace had doubted being the father of her child, but now she sought to prove that Mr. Wallace was indeed the father of her 9-month-old son, Ronell. Mr. Wallace, however, remained steadfast in his denial of being Ronell's father. Ms. Austen expressed multiple reasons for her doubts about Mr. Wallace's paternity claim, leading to her return to the courtroom. The judge provided context by showing glimpses of their prior court appearances. The judge also pointed out that Mr. Wallace had another child with Miss Austen and questioned if he loved his children but not their mothers. Mr. Wallace acknowledged his paternity after the judge recounted the events. Judge Lauren expressed disappointment in the situation's awkwardness. During the proceedings, Mr. Wallace stood on the defense side with Ronell. When asked, he confirmed that he was back with Miss Robert but admitted to still being involved with both women, as Miss Robert was now expecting, potentially with his child. Following this, the judge gave Ronell's mother the opportunity to share her perspective. She began by explaining that since their last court appearance, things seemed okay, but it was clear the situation wouldn't remain stable. She mentioned that Mr. Wallace was still recovering from their previous relationship, and that she was expecting Ronell. Meanwhile, Miss Robert was also expecting. Judge Lauren then inquired why Mr. Wallace seemed hesitant to embrace his role as a father. He responded by questioning whether Ronell was truly his child. He raised suspicions. This led to a heated exchange in the courtroom, with both sides presenting evidence and emotions running high. Accusations were exchanged, and Mr. Wallace implied that Miss Austen had been involved in multiple people. She defended herself, asserting that he knew her well and continued to engage with her. After a tumultuous exchange of evidence and emotions, the court finally delivered its verdict. The judge declared Mr. Wallace as Ronell's father, settling the paternity dispute between them. The upcoming case revolves around young parents and the ensuing conflicts between grandparents regarding paternity claims. Ms. Sessom and her teenage daughter, Destiny, appear in court to establish the paternity of Destiny's 8-month-old son, Osiris, claiming Anthony Taylor as the father. Ms. Riley, opposing this claim, asserts that Anthony Taylor is not Osiris's biological father. The proceedings commence with Ms. Sessom and Destiny confirming their stance on Osiris's paternity involving Anthony Taylor. In contrast, Ms. Riley remains confident in her assertion. The courtroom atmosphere becomes charged as both grandmothers passionately advocate their viewpoints. Amid emotional exchanges, Ms. Sessom expresses concerns about Destiny's interactions with Anthony Taylor, suggesting their secretive meetings. Ms. Riley counters with allegations of dishonesty, implying Destiny used her daughter as an excuse. The courtroom tension escalates during the debate over Destiny's visits to Anthony Taylor's residence. Judge Lauren intervenes, refocusing on the core issue, verifying Osiris's biological parentage. The judge underscores the importance of resolving the matter given its significance. Ms. Riley voices skepticism, citing instances of Destiny spending time with another man. She recalls seeing Destiny with someone else. Destiny's mother remains resolute, emphasizing Destiny's role as a responsible mother and dismissing Ms. Riley's doubts. Amid heightened emotions, Judge Lauren maintains control, prioritizing the search for truth. The focus shifts to unveiling the paternity test results. Judge Lauren confirms Anthony Taylor as Osiris's biological father in the case involving 8-month-old Osiris Taylor. Ms. Williams appeared in court along with her two sisters, entangled in a paternity dispute linked to their mother's past. The trio aimed to uncover the truth, contending that their mother, Miss Little, had been dishonest. They alleged that her behavior had affected their upbringing, prompting them to seek a paternity test. When questioned by the judge about her motivation for pursuing an investigation, Miss Williams explained that she often felt like an outsider among her sisters due to her younger age. She sensed a disconnect and believed that clarifying their paternity could shed light on her situation. However, Miss Little interpreted her daughter's sentiment differently, claiming that the request for a paternity test was just an instance of manipulation. Given the opportunity to speak, another of the Williams sisters recounted her upbringing. She mentioned that growing up, there had been rumors within the family that their alleged father, James, might not be their biological father. It was this James who was present in the court and had undergone testing. The recounting of these events escalated into a heated exchange with raised voices. The judge intervened to restore order, acknowledging that the family's communication was fraught with emotional tension. The judge then turned to Miss Little, inquiring whether she had any insights into the sisters' paternity. Miss Little expressed uncertainty, admitting that she didn't know who their father might be. When asked directly, the alleged father, James, also professed ignorance about their paternity, casting doubt on their relationship. The conversation became more intense as James was pressed about his role as their father. The sisters accused him of not behaving like a father, and he responded defensively. When the paternity test results were revealed, it became apparent that only one of the sisters shared biological paternity with Mr. Williams. This revelation shattered the bond between the sisters. The results indicated that Jasmine Williams was indeed Mr. Williams' biological daughter. However, Lisa Williams and Jamie Williams were not biologically related to him. The emotional fallout was evident. Jamie Williams confronted James about not informing her of the truth, to which he responded that he didn't possess the knowledge himself. He explained that he had been unaware and didn't have the means to provide the information she sought. The theme of honesty and uncertainty resonated throughout the conversation. In the end, the court's decision unveiled a complex web of relationships and emotions, leaving each individual to grapple with the aftermath of the truth. Lisa McBirth initiated a paternity case, driven by her belief that young Elijah might not be her grandson by birth. She sought a DNA test to establish that Kekego Hughes, her son, was not the biological father of Ms. Jackson's 2-year-old son. On the other hand, Ms. Jackson claimed that her ex-friend was being influenced negatively by her mother, who was casting doubt on his paternity. According to Ms. Jackson, Ms. McBirth was poisoning her son's mind, convincing him that he wasn't the true father. Ms. McBirth argued that the timeline didn't add up and the paternity test would provide the necessary evidence. The proceedings began with Ms. McBirth expressing her doubts with Elijah's paternity. She referred to Ms. Jackson as trouble and used words like trash, trouble, and trifling to describe her. She contended that Elijah bore no resemblance to her family, implying that he didn't share their genetic traits. Ms. Jackson believed that she played a significant role in Mr. Hughes' life, but his family disagreed. The issue centered on Elijah's racial appearance, with Ms. McBirth suggesting that he looked nothing like her son due to his lighter skin tone. When asked about their relationship duration, they mentioned it had lasted 15 to 18 months. They both asserted that Ms. Jackson's attempts at deception hadn't swayed their convictions. They recalled a specific incident at a doctor's office where Ms. McBirth had noticed Elijah's appearance and immediately sensed a lack of resemblance. This further solidified her doubts. Judge Lauren intervened, acknowledging that Mr. Hughes had a role in the situation as well. Ms. McBirth strongly reacted to this assertion. She reaffirmed her conviction about Elijah's paternity, emphasizing her maternal certainty. As the court proceedings unfolded, tensions escalated, leading the judge to assert control over the courtroom. Amidst verbal clashes, it became evident that Ms. Jackson had influenced Mr. Hughes' perspective, while Ms. McBirth remained steadfast in her stance. Eventually, the moment of truth arrived with the unveiling of the DNA test results. The judge announced, revealing that in the case of McBirth Terrell v. Jackson, concerning 2-year-old Elijah, Mr. Hughes was indeed Elijah's father. The revelation left Ms. McBirth's confidence vindicated, while Ms. Jackson's claims were debunked. The truth emerged through the conclusive DNA test, and the judge's decision settled the paternity dispute surrounding young Elijah. These cases just messed up our minds. What are your views on this? Do let us know in the comment section below, and for more such amazing truth-revealing videos, do subscribe to our channel.